Welcome to an in-depth view of the Reputation Intelligence product. In this video, we will take a comprehensive look at each tab. Let's review the Visibility tab in greater detail. Visibility is really about completing two important steps. One, making sure a business is listed everywhere it should be, and two, confirming that all of those listings are current and consistent. When you access the Visibility tab for the first time, the first place you should visit is the Edit Visibility Settings area and verify the business information entered. The next step is to verify that the checked visibility sources are relevant and to uncheck any that might not be relevant. For example, if the business is a restaurant, make sure to select Urban Spoon. You can also select a category, which will automatically turn on or off the relevant sources. Once this is completed, you will be able to ensure that listings are visible on sources where the customers are looking, check listings and review inconsistencies, receive alerts and reminders on changes to visibility, and climb the search ranks. The visibility listings are segmented into 5 categories: search engines, review sites, directory sites, social sites, and other listing sources. Other listing sources include any other listing sites where a business can be listed. These are typically smaller, more hyper-local or industry-specific sites. Let's look at some examples on how to perform important tasks in the Visibility tab. Making mine, verifying, and submitting proper URLs are important functions in the Visibility tab. To complete these functions, look for any listing site with a yellow caution symbol. Click Show Details and you have the option of viewing, editing, making mine or not mine, and verifying correct. Look at the listing information carefully and choose the option that best fits each scenario. Click the tooltip to pull up details on that source and instructions on how to edit and claim the listing or create a new one. Verifying will change a yellow caution to a green checkmark, meaning that even though the listing has discrepancies, you do not intend on updating the listing at this time. The Make Mine and Not Mine moves listings up or down in the possible matches found. For example, if a business has a listing but is largely incorrect, we may not pull it in as the correct match right away. You will then have to make it mine to move it up as a correct match to the account. Also look for any listing site with a red X, meaning that the listing is not found. Click View Possible Matches and you will have the option of manually entering the proper URL of a listing that you know exists and is correct. From time to time, a listing may not be pulled in. For example, if the address and the phone number listed on Bing does not match the one on the account at all, it will not be pulled in. In those cases, you can manually enter and submit. This concludes the Visibility section of Reputation Intelligence. Let's look at the Review tab in more detail. Monitoring reviews is one of the most important and useful features of the Reputation Intelligence product. Businesses that listen and respond to their customers can set themselves apart from their competition, and sharing positive reviews with your social followers is a useful source for user-generated content or positive word of mouth. The reviews are generated from your visibility sources. Using the Sources drop-down menu, you are able to filter reviews based on source. You can also sort your reviews based on rating using this drop-down menu. If you decide that certain positive reviews are worth spreading around, selecting the Share button will take you to the Social tab to allow you to edit and schedule a post to one or multiple social feeds that are connected. The Trending Cloud can pinpoint certain keywords that your customers are talking about. For example, the words that are large and bold reference phrases that are spoken of more often than the smaller words. Spending some time clicking into some of these keywords allows you to tap into your customers' opinions and popularity of certain areas of your business. You can't change what a customer has said. However, you may be able to win them back by responding to them in a calm and compassionate manner. Clicking on the review title will take you directly to the review on that specific site. This is where you would then respond. Check out the Source Tooltips on the Visibility tab to view further instructions on how to do that for each source. This concludes the review section of the Reputation Intelligence tool. Let's review the Mentions tab. The Overview page in the Mentions tab allows a business to see any instance of unstructured online chatter outside of our rating and review sites and is categorized into 5 different sections: Web, Twitter, Images, Facebook, and News. Clicking on each section will let you view all the mentions for that category, as well as toggle the search results by date, source, search criteria, and sentiment. Let's review a few important steps to perform in the Mentions tab. Editing search settings for mentions allows a business to edit the search keywords that Reputation Intelligence uses to find mentions for a given business. Just click on the Edit Searches link to reveal the settings, then add or edit searches here as required. When the account is initially created, a set of searches will auto-populate based on the business anchor data and any key people or common business names that were entered. Searches that are too broad may result in an excess of mentions that aren't relevant to the business. Alternatively, searches that are too refined may limit the content. It is wise to test the searches in Bing to make sure content is relevant. Use the must include or must exclude options to fine-tune your searches. Twitter searches are edited and created separately than the other mentioned sections. Here you can fine-tune the search criteria as well as limit the search results to a 25-mile geolocation radius. Using the must include and must not include form fields will help refine the searches even further. Even if the business does not have a Twitter account, searches should still be entered here for their business name. Fine-tuning the sentiment analysis on mentions is another key function. Click the search button. You will then see a list of all the mentions that were found based on the search settings, as well as the sentiment scale for each of them. Sentiment indicates whether a mention has been judged as positive or negative. The assigned sentiment can be overridden by moving the slider beside it. Other than just assigning a sentiment, there are 3 other actions that can be performed. If a business wants to remember a certain mention for later or finds one particularly important, using the star button will act as a bookmark. Clicking on the My button will mark the mention as content that is being pulled from one of the business's sources. For example, a paragraph from their website or blog post that they wrote. A mention can also be tagged as not relevant in the cases where the mention may have nothing in common with the business. If you are seeing several not relevant results, select View Details. The indicated keyword shows which search is pulling these in and thus should be adjusted to be more relevant. That concludes the overview of the Mentions tab. Let's review the Social tab. The Social tab is a great place to monitor a business's social feeds, particularly likes, followers, and check-ins over a period of time. Clicking the Share button directs them to the area where they can post content to the connected social feeds. Using the Schedule Update link will allow a business to enter a specific time and date, if desired, of when an upcoming post should be deployed. If the social feeds are not already connected, choose the Open Account linking option to sign into the social feeds. Another useful option within the Social tab is to connect social feeds of employees. This feature will allow a business to closely monitor what the employees are saying about the company, both positive and negative. Viewing feed activity of the connected social feeds is a great way to see everything in one area without having to go to each separate social feed and log in. Use the drop-down menu to filter by social feed source. That concludes the overview of the Social tab. Let's review the Competition tab. The Competition tab allows a business to see how they stack up against their competitors in the categories of search engine share of voice and social audience. Search engine share of voice will show a business visually how they are comparing in Bing search results compared to their competitors and in the specified categories of their choice. View the tooltip within the search engine share of voice headline to find out more about how these percentages are calculated. The most important step within the Competition tab is to edit services and competitors. In the Share of Voice section of the editing area, checking that the business information is listed correctly is key. Editing the service categories is another very important step, and it is wise to choose only the main categories that apply to you and your competitors to get more accurate results. Making sure that the correct social feeds are listed for the business is another key step in comparing against competitors. If a social feed is not connected, you have the option in the Visibility tab to correct this by either verifying a listed social feed as correct or submitting the URL for the appropriate business page. The Competition tab allows for comparison against your closest competitors. Choosing the Add button will let a business add competitors, along with providing form fields where they can manually submit their competitors' social feed URLs. Choosing Edit will allow these fields to be adjusted at any time. The Social Audience section will allow for comparison against the entered competitors in terms of Facebook likes, Twitter followers, and Foursquare check-ins over time. The first tab of the social graph shows the overall tally of likes, followers, and check-ins for the business and its competitors. Using each additional tab will break out the graph into each of the 3 social feed categories. The social graph also defaults to the total view. However, you can also choose to view the graph in growth view to see the growth of the social audience over the last 30 days. That concludes the overview of the Competition tab. Let's review the Reports tab. The Reports tab shows an archive of a business's weekly reputation reports going back to when the account was created. Select Edit Report Settings to adjust the email frequency or add additional emails. There is also an option to select which type of daily alerts a business would like to receive. For example, a business may only want to get alerts for new reviews and very negative mentions. The actual emailed report is a brief overview of statistics for each area within the Reputation Intelligence product. View the reports to see progress and growth in each area over the last week. That concludes the overview of the Reports tab. Thank you for watching this Reputation Intelligence training video.